Like, I believe in God when I'm on planes. Like, I really believe in God. You ever try to make a side deal with God? Just when I get on planes, I look at some old lady struggling with her bags, having trouble putting it in overhead, and I'm like, wait a minute, lady, let me get that for you, ma'am. Let me put that heavy bag up there for you, because, you know, look, God, look what a great guy I am helping this woman with her bags. You ain't gonna let the plane crash, are you, Lord Jesus? Because I'm a good person. And then when the plane lands, the lady's looking at me like, you want to get my bags? I'm like, no, like what? I kept the plane in the air, you selfish bitch.
This short clip you just watched forms the foundation for the strongest argument against faith I've ever come across, man. Let's talk about it. Now, if you're not familiar with Patrice, he was a stand-up comedian, actor, and radio personality who passed away in 2011 from complications of a stroke. He was only 41 years old, but in his time on earth, he built a reputation as one of the most honest, uncompromising, and brutally funny voices in comedy. He didn't just tell jokes that made you comfortable, he told jokes that made you uncomfortable, then made you laugh at your own discomfort. And his observations about human behavior, about relationships, about race, and yes, sometimes about religion remain as relevant today as they were when he first delivered them more than a decade ago. So, today, I want to focus on this one particular bit, man. It's about his relationship with God on airplanes, and I want to use it as a launching pad to talk about something broader, the nature of religious belief in America and beyond, the transactional nature of faith, and the uncomfortable truth about who claims to be religious and what they actually do with that belief. Patrice is talking about how he believes in God, but only in certain special situations. It's a simple bit, but it's so revealing, man. This is exactly how millions of people approach their relationship with God worldwide. They believe when it's convenient, they believe when they're scared, they believe when they need something, but the moment the crisis passes, the moment the plane lands, the moment the biopsy comes back negative, and the moment the paycheck clears, suddenly God isn't quite so central to their life anymore. And if you currently are or were ever a believer, then you know exactly what he is talking about in this clip, man. This isn't just Patrice O'Neal's model of faith, it's most people's. It's belief as an insurance policy. It's believing just enough to hedge your bets, but not so much that it actually changes how you live the rest of your life. It's practically the spiritual equivalent of buying lottery tickets. You know, the odds are terrible, but what if it's real at the end of the day? What if there is a heaven? What if there is hell? It's better to be safe than sorry, I guess. And this is where the psychology gets really interesting for me, at least. Because if you actually truly believed that there was a God who was watching your every move, who cared about how you treated those around you, who would judge you based on your actions towards the poor, the sick, the imprisoned, and etc. If religious people really believed that the world would be a paradise, ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't have Christians cheering for the detainment of a 5-year-old simply because they don't have the right documentation. So as Daniel Dennett argued in one of my favorite speeches of his, many Christians and other religious believers do not actually believe in the literal supernatural doctrines of their faith, but rather believe in belief. They hold that having religious faith is useful, beneficial, virtuous, but when it comes to the actual real-world implications of their faith, the commands to love your neighbor, to care for the poor, to welcome the stranger, then suddenly it's all just a metaphor. Suddenly it's all open to interpretation, and suddenly it doesn't actually require anything of them, man. Interesting one. Now, this brings me to the darker side of this dynamic, because it's not just that people are transactional in their faith. It's that this transactional nature of faith often coexists with genuine cruelty in their daily lives, man. Now, Let's take a look at the statistics, for example, man. In America, the most religious parts of the country are often the least generous when it comes to social services, man. The states with the highest church attendance also tend to be the states with the lowest taxes and the weakest social safety nets. The people who talk about Christian values are often the ones voting against policies that would actually help the poor, the sick, and the vulnerable. And why is all of this the case, man? It's because they've been told that helping people through government is socialism, because they've been told that their tax dollars shouldn't go to people who don't actually deserve it, because they've been told that poverty is a moral failing, not a structural problem, and because they've been convinced, or they've actually convinced themselves that their private charity, the stuff they can actually control, the stuff that makes them feel good, the stuff that comes with tax write-offs and public recognition, that somehow these are the things that are superior to a system that would actually ensure everyone has access to healthcare, food, and housing, man, in general. This is Patrice O'Neal's dynamic on a social scale. On a societal scale, I mean. They do the little good deed. Maybe they drop $1 in the collection plate. Maybe they volunteer at a soup kitchen once a year. Or maybe they share a Facebook post about prayer and they think that's enough. They think God owes them now. They think that they've done their part and they get back to voting for politicians who cut food stamps, who oppose Medicaid expansion, who block funding for public schools, and who demonize immigrants. Basically, people who criminalize poverty at every turn in terms of policy. The plane in this case has landed, and suddenly that old lady can get her own fucking bags, man. This is the cruelty of convenient belief, man. It's believing just enough to feel good about yourself, but not enough to actually change how you treat other people. It's believing in a God who loves everyone, but voting for politicians who make life harder for everyone who isn't exactly like you. It's believing in heaven, but not believing enough to care about who gets to go to the hospital, man. This is the honesty of Patrice O'Neal, if you will have it. And this is why I think Patrice O'Neal's beat is so powerful, man. Because Patrice was being honest. He didn't pretend to be a saint. He never pretended to be a good person. He admitted that his belief was conditional, transactional, and self-serving. He admitted that he only thought about God when he was scared, and that the moment the fear passed, he went back to being himself. The truth out here is that most religious people aren't that honest, man. They'll tell you they believe. They'll actually tell you they're faithful. They tell you that they're good Christians, but their actions will always tell a different story. Their politics will tell a different story, and their treatment of the people around them will tell an even worse story. Here we can see that Patrice, in his own way, was more honest than all of them in a way. He admitted that his faith was a convenience, a tool, a deal he made with the universe when he needed something. He did not wrap it in pious language or pretend to be holier than he was. He just told the truth to the best of his ability. Now, let's take a moment and talk about what real belief would actually look like in society. Now, I want to be clear about something before we do that. I am an atheist. I don't think any of this is real, but if it were real, if the Christian God actually existed, if Jesus actually meant what he said, if the Bible were actually true, then real belief would look very different from what we see in the world today, man. Real belief would mean caring about the poor, I mean, not just in theory, but in practice as well. It would mean supporting policies that lift people out of poverty, not cutting the programs that keep them alive. Real belief would mean welcoming the stranger, not building walls and banning all immigrants. Real belief would mean loving your enemies, not demonizing political opponents, man. And real belief would mean caring for the sick, not opposing healthcare reform. And real belief would mean turning the other cheek, not supporting wars and executions and vengeance. Is that so hard, man? Real belief, I think, should mean that your politics and your faith are actually aligned. And for most American Christians today and most people around the world, they are not even close to being aligned, man. The fact that they are so comfortable with cruelty, so comfortable with inequality, so comfortable with exclusion, it tells you everything you need to know about the depths of their faith. It's a mile wide, but an inch deep, man. It's there when they need it and gone when they actually don't. It's a plane ride faith, not a life-changing one, man. This has been one of my most interesting videos that I've ever created, man. Only 30 seconds of the speaker and the rest is just me blabbering about what I thought about the beat, man. So thank you for joining me today. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video as much as I did putting it together, man. I hope that I'll see you in the next one that I'll upload. In the meantime, rest in peace. Patrice O'Neal will all meet you down the road sometime, man. Peace. I love you all. Remember to hug your loved ones, man. And please subscribe and leave a comment below. Thank you.